Hey everybody, welcome back to the Carry and Cut YouTube channel. And if you're new here, I surely appreciate you stopping by and watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, check out our Instagram at Carry and Cut and our Patreon at Carry and Cut also. All the support from the Patreon goes directly back into the channel to buy new knives and new equipment to hopefully make the quality and the content better for you guys. So today we have another knife brought to you by Stephen. And Stephen, sure to appreciate you sending this knife over for us to take a look at. This is nothing new, so this is something that we have actually had on the channel before. This is another Benchmade 940 Osborne. This is just Stephen's knife, and he has a kind of a little bit of a complaint going on here that the action is not as good as it should be, and I do agree with him on that. So I'm not sure exactly what is going on with this thing. You know, it's the pivot is pretty loose as it is right now, and the darn thing will not fall shut. And I'm just taking a look at it. And it almost seems like the barrel spacers, if you can kind of tell, like they're not seated properly into the scale. So I don't know if that's going to actually have some sort of reasoning behind what is going on. Definitely not sure what is actually going on there, especially with, I don't know. We're going to take it apart and we're going to see what is going on with this thing. So you need two drivers. You're going to need T6 for your pocket clip, T6 for all the body screws, and T10 for the actual pivot itself. So let's go ahead and get this thing taken apart here and see if we can figure out if there's any rhyme or reason to why this thing is not at least performing the way that we think it should be. So let's go ahead and throw our screws right back into the pocket clip here. Make sure we're not going to lose those. Crazy how long these pocket clip screws are for what we actually got going on here. Another thing, when you're messing with especially copper scales, you got to be really careful because the threads, the threads are actually copper. So copper is a very soft material as it is. So you're definitely going to want to keep an eye on that. Don't be torquing down too hard, and make sure you actually get your bolt started, your screw started before you start doing anything crazy on it. So this almost looks like it was like a 940 BK2. It's not like an original 940 where that has like the backspacer running down the center there. So I'm not sure what is going on with that. Let's go ahead and let's take off this side first. Yeah, so we can try to lift that whole entire scale off. So let's take this side apart. I don't know why I started over there. There's kind of you can kind of see it right there how they're not seated exactly, and I feel like it's putting a whole lot of pressure on this part and leaving this part open, and it's kind of smashing the blade in right there. So that's just my kind of idea. So we're gonna go ahead and take this thing apart and see what is going on. So let's keep all of our hardware separate so we know which goes where. Pop our other barrel spacer out. I guess we can go ahead and take these ones out. And maybe these ones just not very happy with the scale swap. I'm not sure what brand these scales are. He didn't tell me that info. Alright, a whole bunch of hardware going on with the 940. Alright, let's pop our pivot out of here now. See, that thing wasn't even tight, so I don't understand why the action is not as good as it could be. Alright, so there we got the inside. It looks like he's definitely put plenty of lube in this thing, so we shouldn't have had too many issues with it. On a normal 940, you can see that there's supposed to be a D-shaped cutout. At least that's what I'm getting. I think there's definitely like a flat section right there. You guys can kind of see it right there. So so your barrel spacers stay captive, and on here it just is not a thing. So it can't properly seat down into the actual barrel spacer itself, and I think that is what's kind of holding us up. Pretty sure that's what the problem is. So it's kind of unfortunate. We'll go ahead and keep on plucking away at this thing though, but I'm thinking that is actually what the culprit is. So I don't know if it just doesn't like, I don't know, it just kind of stinks, because I just don't think that these scales like this overall design of what we got going on. There we go. Pop our pivot out of there. Get all this junk out of the way. So now we should be able to lift. So our blade's going to come right out. So there's our blade. And we can go ahead and take the cartridge side out of this one. Of course, this is a cartridge liner. Got stuff all over the place. Which is really fortunate. I don't have another 940 here with me right now. Mine is over at the Knight's Edge, so he should be sending that one back to me. It'd be a great opportunity to take this thing apart and show you guys exactly what is going on with it. Okay, these are all going to be the same size hardware, so that's nice. Alright. Perfect. Whew. There, that thing came flying out of there at me. Let's go ahead and get our washers out of there. Alright. So I think exactly what we were expecting is going on. It's just not seating in there quite right, and it's really messing with the action of the knife. So it's kind of crappy, if you will. You know, I hate seeing that, especially, you know, you pay a good bit of money for these, and I don't know why that would be. That's a design flaw on whoever made these scales, that they wouldn't at least make it to where it works the original equipment. So I know, like the 940 BK2 or whatever it is, that's like the black handled version, whatever kind of G10 scales, or it might even be aluminum scales on it too, but they have like the green barrel spacers in the black, and even these ones might have black barrel spacers, but I'm sure that those liners or scales actually do have some sort of notch out for the actual barrel spacers. Just hate to see that, because I was really hoping that I could get this thing figured out for him, and we'll be able to get it back in tip-top shape and get the action where it should be. But I don't think it's going to change anything at all with being that those barrel spacers are not quite right. So hate that, but I guess it is what it is. I don't know what is going on right there with the blade right there. You can see some. That's for the detent. Not really sure what is going on there. I don't know. Not sure. So let's go ahead and start throwing this thing back together here. Again, let's go ahead and start with this side. If you guys have any questions about any of the tools that we're using on here, they're all going to be linked down in the description below if you'd like to check them out. Entirely up to you. It does help the channel though, especially well, all the links, but the Amazon links and all this sort. That's where I'm going to have all my tools linked to. So go ahead and start with this one right there. Alright, get our next one going. All these Benchmade knives are pretty similar to put together, except for a handful of them when you actually get into like the assisted ones and stuff like that. Those ones are going to be a little bit different. Alright, but for the most part, we got pretty much the same scenario going on. Alright, now we could put in our actual screws for our, here's what I'm talking about. Might be able to show you here better. So you go to put your barrel spacer in, and they don't seat in there because of the actual D-shaped cutout things that they have going on. So maybe if you could grind these down or something, I'm not even sure how you would do that, or if you could maybe just buy another backspacer kit off Etsy or something. I'm not sure what you would do, but I'm sure that would remedy it, cure it, some sort, because it's too bad. Hate to see that we can't actually get this thing working better. So let's go ahead and try to thread one of these through here. There we go. All right, and got that snug down as good as we can. And it almost, when you tighten your screw into there, it doesn't have a place for it to, you know, exactly sit in. So when you're tightening that up, it could even put that in there at an angle. And you definitely don't want that, because things are going to be, you know, out of whack, not true, not square, and that's a whole nother can of worms. So Stephen, my words to you, I would try to look up some different back spacers, and something that's not a captive, or just another set of liners in general. I actually do have another set of liners. Well, I don't know where they're at. Where did I set those darn things? Here they are, right here. So this is another set of 940 liners. Whoa. And it looks like, of course, this is going to be for an actual 940 that has, you know, the purple backspacer running down through it. So you can see the difference on these ones. This one's going to be like an open back construction, and this one is going to be one for the one that has the purple backspacer running through the knife. So I'm not even sure if the purple backspacer is going to go onto there or not. It doesn't look like it is. It looks like you're just going to sandwich the two together. So that's definitely something. I was just kind of wondering if that's, because the knife that I have, it's the green one, the green aluminum handles that has the yeah, this one probably actually makes it thinner too. So that's pretty cool. Definitely cool to see. Another one of the subscribers for our channel sent those over to us. So cool. Let's go ahead and keep plucking away at this thing. So we got this thing down to this far, and you just can't exactly quite tighten them up enough too at the same time. So that just stinks. All right, we're going to go ahead and throw that onto here. Hate that. Just hate that. Feel bad for him. I know Stephen really does like his knives, and hate that we can't get this thing back up to operational how it should be. Let's go ahead and throw our screw into there. And no matter how hard you tighten these up, it's not gonna make any difference whatsoever. A little goo on it. Put our other backspacer in. All right. So you can kind of see when you're working on these Benchmade, sometimes this liner, this little cartridge liner dude on the inside will pop up through, and you can either use a screwdriver or just some kind of pry bar or something just to push that liner down in when you're tightening it up. But sometimes you can get lucky and it can catch, like right there. See, it caught and it went down through no problem. So now we're in good shape there. Let's go ahead and put a little more goo on here. Alright, so now we're on the home stretch here. All we gotta do is left is put the blade in and put our pivot in. So this is a pretty cool little kit. Stephen actually got this for us. This is an OCD for EDC pivot installation kit, whatever you want to call it, toolkit. It comes with all these different sizes of, yeah, I'll show you here. They're all 3D printed too, so it's definitely pretty cool. So it's definitely not going to be one of the bigger ones. It should be one of these smaller ones right here. And of course, the all the Benchmade's pivots have these D-shaped dudes on them right there, and so they slide in just like so. But of course, when you get all your blade in there and all that other sorts of fun stuff, it doesn't line up just as good as you want it to all the time. Maybe the smallest one we got, I hope. There we go. Yep, so that works just like so. And of course, you're going to put your pivot in on this side of it, and then it's going to slide right down through the other way. So this thing's pretty cool. Alright, so let's go ahead and get our blade going here. Let's get some KPL going here. Slide this off to the side. We're going to put a little bit of KPL on it. This obviously lubricates the washers, but at the same time it keeps the washers onto the blade when we go to install. That's the main important part of it. I also want to show another thing on this kit comes with. It comes with these real cool little dudes here that keep your crossbar lock, axis lock engaged. And that's another thing you got to look at when you're messing with these, is when you keep your lock bar engaged, then it's not going to, well, it'll free up a lot of room. Alright. I feel like I can already tell that there's a lot of pressure coming from somewhere. The blade does not want to slide in there, and I feel like that's because of I don't know, something is not jiving well with this set. There we go. We can kind of use a mix and match of tools here. We're going to slide the washer down. Go ahead and slide that one down. Same deal here. Let's slide him down. Let's see if we can get that lined up to where it needs to go. Went a little too far on that one. Just getting everything lined up is the main importance here. And once we get it pretty well straightened away where we need to be, like so, hopefully we'll be able to slide our pivot alignment tool in here. What I'm hoping for. Maybe we need the smaller one. And it should lock right in. Our flat spot should be down, I'm thinking. These aren't precision machined. They're obviously just using .3D printing to get these things made. So there we go, maybe. We're just trying to get it lined up exactly where it wants to be and is happy. So in theory, these things should work very well. And they do work very well on some. I feel like this one's just having a, there it goes, just like that. Alright, so here's the cool thing. So we got our pivot lined up down there just like this. So we need to go ahead and try to, these things should go right over top of that, but it seems like this one is just not liking life. Maybe I tried to put too many pivots on there and it's kind of warped it. So it's mainly just keeping everything lined up exactly where it should go. Just like that. See? And that one comes right out. So it's easy, painless installation of your crossbar lock, pivot lock, or yeah, access bar, crossbar locking knives. Let's go ahead and thread this dude down in here. Like so. Alright, try to take our crossbar lock out. Come out of there, darn it. There we go. Yeah, I don't know. Not sure exactly what, I mean, I wouldn't say the action's bad on it, but not much blade play. It's not really tight exactly, I would say, just yet. Not really loose at the same time. Try to loosen up a little bit. But you got a good blade play right there. I don't know, you definitely want to have it tighter than not. I mean, these knives are definitely supposed to be fidget friendly, but I don't know, this thing, there's just a whole lot of pressure on this side versus back here. I feel like when something is just not jiving quite well, and I'm pretty sure it has everything to do with these back spacers. So Stephen, I'm really sorry about that. Wish we could get this thing working better for you. Hate that that happened. I think it's this whole time that he's owned this knife, it's actually been the case. So, and he just never quite wondered or actually realized what the issue was. And I think we have definitely found it out. So let's go ahead and put a little goo on these bolt locker pocket clip screws for him. Set it up for lefty carry for him, just how he prefers. Remember, if you ever have any copper or brass scales, be very careful when you're putting your pocket clip screws in, because the brass is, or the copper especially, is very, very soft. Alright. I feel like with these backspacers, it's also going to mess with the alignment of your knife, because you can't quite get it, alignment of your blade, because you can't quite exactly get it tuned up to exactly where you like it. And I feel like you can even see there, we're way more sandwiched up here than we are back here. And if these would snap in together, it would loosen this part up. So there's just a lot of pressure in the actual blade itself. So heck, you could probably run, not even run bearings on here, and it'd probably be, the action would be better. But of course you can't do that. So, all right, man. I think that's going to do it. Stephen, sorry about that. Kind of sucked, but it is what it is at this point. If you have some other liners or scales, we'll definitely throw them on there for you. But for now, I think this is the best that we're going to be able to get this thing. So, I mean, definitely still works. You could use it, no big deal. But not exactly what we strived out for and went out to get, but beautiful knife. So, nonetheless, it's going to be able to work how you want it to. So, all right. Thanks, guys.